Good evening, everybody. Wow, it's really bright in here. Hold on one sec. That's better. It's so bright. Hey, everybody. Let's see how many people have goals this year they want to tackle. Let's see how many goal setters we have. So I actually was just doing some research on the lineup of all the promotion oils from this month, because there are a couple that I wasn't 100% familiar on. I still really don't know a lot about the oils, and I'm always still learning all the time. So I pulled out my reference guide and I was looking through it, and did you guys know that basil helps to fight mental fatigue? I was like, that's perfect. I need that tonight, right? Basil, who knew, right? And I also learned in looking through my reference guides that basil also helps your sense of smell. Who knew, right? So I can help my alertness and I can smell really well at the same time. I love it. So I used to keep my reference guide in the bathroom because I found that, I drink lots of water through the day, so I pee all the time. So I found if I would just read like one little snippet in the reference guide, then I would learn one thing a day. The only problem is I forget everything that I read. So even though I learn it, it goes like in one ear and out the other. So I don't know, when people ask me how I learn about the oils, I say unless I've actually used an oil for my family and we have needed it, I can't retain any information about oils. So I will tell all of you that basil helps with sense of smell and mental fatigue. And then you all can remind me of that on days when I'm tired and when I can't smell very well. So I thought it'd be fun just to put some basil on. Now the basil in the promos is the Basil Vitality. So that's something you could put in your soups, in your pasta sauce. I don't think I'd put basil in, a smoothie, basil essential oil, but you could kind of use it in any of your Italian cooking. Hello, everybody. We have a good group on tonight. Okay, the other thing I wanted to share with you is about the eucalyptus. And I have to look at my book here because I forget what I found that was so cool about the eucalyptus. So, did you know that both basil and eucalyptus can be really great, like post-workout? If you're like me and you have lots of times where you don't work out and then you go back and you work out and then you realize, whew, not quite used to those workouts, basil and eucalyptus can be really helpful after those workouts. So I also learned that eucalyptus is really great for breathing. So I'm still kind of working my way past a little something that my family acquired over Christmas. So I think I'll put a little eucalyptus on. But you get a whole big bottle as part of the promotions this month. Crazy, right? And then you all saw my helichrysum video, hopefully today. If you don't know why you should spend 300 PV to get helichrysum, never mind the peace and calming that comes with it, you got to watch the video. If you have veins that have blood in them, you need helichrysum in your house. All right. And then you get, Citrus Fresh and Joy, and those two are all crowd favorites. I don't need to tell you what those do. But anyway, I just find it so fun. Like every month when the promos come out, I just pull out my reference guide and I sit down and I look at each one and learn different things. And then I get my oils, and half of the time, by the time they arrive, I forget what I learned from the reference guide. So I just put them in the diffuser. I put them in the diffuser, and then I put them on the bottom of my feet. And sometimes I just rub them all around my ears, because I can never remember specifics, right? So who's excited for these promos this month? I mean, usually January isn't quite as fabulous, promo-wise, as the rest of the fall. But this year, it's like crazy good. Okay. So hello, everybody. We have a nice big group on here. This is awesome. Pardon my coughing. I'm still purging through some energetic stuff. And you may want to you could grab a pen and a piece of paper. It's not really necessary for tonight, but if you're a person who likes to take notes and you don't think you want to go back to the recording later, you just want to have it written down, you could grab a pen and a piece of paper. You definitely will want to I will grab an oil. I think we should use oils all the time. We are blessed to be with a company that the products are, oh yeah, Thieves Cough Drop. That would be good, except they're way on the other side of the house. You know, we're blessed to be part of a company where our products can actually support us in everything we do. So I never do a class and I never do anything like this without an oil. So I actually chose Present Time for tonight, and you will understand why after we start talking about this topic. But you could grab anything that says goal to you, goal manifestation. So motivation, live your passion, envision, transformation. I mean, there's like 20 blends you could pick from and 20,000 single oils you could pick from and be all set. So grab an oil of your choice and comment below and let us know what you got. So Stephanie has Awaken. That's a good one. Dreamcatcher. Awesome. I love that. I love that. What other oils are you guys grabbing? You could grab a cup of tea if you want to. Well, I don't know how long we're going to be together tonight. This was a kind of a tricky class it was a tricky class to put together. I'm just not sure how it's going to come out. So we might be here for just a short while. We might be here for a long time. I don't know. Abundance, highest potential, joy, wonderful, valor. That's a good one. Oh, that reminds me. Hold on. Let's find a point on the ears to put these oils, right? Because, hold on. I never know where the ear points are in this book. Let me get my other book. Because did you guys know that the ears are a map to the body? And the ears not only map physically to the body, but they actually can map to the emotions as well. So hold on. Well, you guys are sharing those oils, abundance into the future. Believe, highest potential. Ooh, lime and copaiba. I like that, Sarah Lynn. You're going against the grain. You're picking the singles. I love it. Okay, so I'm looking at the map of the ear here. I'm going to show you guys. This is going to be backwards, but see, the ear has all these different points, right? And so they all connect to different emotions. So I'll throw out a few that might apply to you and goals, and you can decide where you want to put your oil. So if you feel fear when you think about your goals, you would put your oil, and it talks about valor, release, and joy. You put it's like right here. Like if you have your ears pierced, just right above them before that little notch starts, right there in your ear. If you want to open your mind, you would put it like just above the little like hanging down part of the earlobe. I don't really have, I'm just looking at my ears for the first time. I don't have a hanging down part, but if you did, it would be just above it. If you feel overwhelmed when you think about goals, you're going to go like halfway up this little ridge, right in like around there. Again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be like millimeters. You could massage your whole ear if you want. So easy, right? That's what I do. It's nice to have the map, but honestly, I find it much easier just to give my whole ears a massage. So I'm going to use Present Time, and it looks like we have a ton of different oils, which is wonderful, because there are no right answers. As you're putting your oils on, I want you to think about your goal that you want to work with tonight. Okay? I want you to come with a very specific goal. This will work much better for you if you have one to work with. It doesn't have to be your end-all be-all like crazy goal, but I want you to use a goal to apply to what I'm going to teach you tonight. All right. Here's my last piece of advice. I had to write these things down. I get a little distracted on these Facebook Lives. A little bit of my blue personality comes out, which don't have much, but it comes out. Goldenrod, Pam Smith. That's awesome. That's great. I love that. Goldenrod. That's cracking me up. Okay. I want you to shut everything else off right now. I want you to shut off your phone. If you're on your phone, put it on Do Not Disturb mode. If you're on your computer, I want you to close down the windows so that you're not getting any notifications from Facebook. I don't want you to get text messages coming through. I actually want you to close down your internet browser because I don't want you to be tempted to Google anything that I say during this talk. I want you to be present, and here's why. When we set goals, part of the challenge with that is that anytime we look at a goal, especially ones that might be bigger than we usually dream, our whole being is designed to keep us safe. And when we think about a goal, oftentimes that feels unsafe. That feels a little threatening to kind of what I call our monkey mind, right? And so your monkey mind will try I guarantee you during this Facebook Live, you're going to be tempted to go do something, Google something, check your email, look at Facebook messages, something to get away from potentially reaching your goal. That's what your body is designed to do. It's going to keep you safe. And safe is usually keeping you doing what you've been doing all the time. So if you can close down everything, that's going to help eliminate a little bit of the distraction, temptation. Okay? So just breathe in your oil. My name is Christi Collins. I know we have a lot of new team members on, and I may not have been on a Facebook Live with you before. I am our diamond leader from Essentially Powerful, and I am an introvert with a splash of social anxiety thrown in there. Facebook Live is not typically my desired way of communicating. However, I have a very strong passion for if I learn something that I think could help people, I feel like I am obligated to share it. That's why I started sharing Young Living essential oils. That's why I share about the business opportunity and the money that is to be made from this and the way that the abundance can change your life. I find that it is, if I learn anything about the oils, anything about business, anything about mindset, anything at all about personal growth, I just have to share it. And I was watching the 12 Days of Diamond series that a lot of the diamond leaders did, and one of my rules for myself is if I watch a video, I have to apply something from the video before I can watch the next one. So I was watching Melissa Peppings this weekend on a walk, and she said, if you feel stuck at all, at any point in your life, you just have to do something. Pick up your idea list and do something from it. So I was like, okay, I'm not feeling stuck, really, but if it works when you're stuck, if you don't feeling stuck, and you pick an idea from your idea list and you do it, then maybe you'll be even less stuck. So I had this thought, it just came bursting through my head when I was listening to her that I need to teach you guys how to do this. Like, I need to share this tool with you. I haven't shared this tool with very many people on our team. I don't know why. I guess because I think maybe people are going to think I'm a little woo-woo, but you know what? I'm a little woo-woo, and the tool is actually not very woo-woo. It's something that you do all the time anyway. You may just not be applying it in the way I'm going to teach you tonight. So I think Jamie McKenzie may be the only person I've ever talked to about this, and I apologize for that. Shame on me for not sharing this. Like, I need to just get over the whole woo-woo fear and just teach it to you guys. So that's why I decided to do this call. I was going to do it on the Business Builder page where we typically do all our mindset stuff and we typically do all our personal growth. And then I thought, well, that's stupid. We have all these people on our team page who love our products, use our products, looking for health, looking for wellness, looking for transformation in their lives. They've got all sorts of goals. This does not have to just be a business goal tool. It can be for anything. And I have actually used it for more non-business things than business things. So I thought, let's do it on the team page, right? Like, let's let everybody in on the mindset shift fun that we typically have over on the Business Builder page. So if you are just joining and you're a product user and you've never been on something like this, I encourage you to have an open mind. I'm going to do my best. This is not an easy thing to teach. I've been struggling with how to teach it, but I trust that it will come. Okay, what I would like for you to do is take a deep breath of your oil again, whatever you chose to use. And then I would like for you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I would really love to see some of the goals that you've brought to this call. Okay, because I want to be able to make this applicable for you, specific for as many of you as I can. So I got my little post-it notes here. I want to be able to write down some of your goals. Because I can share my stories, and I will with you, but I want to hear what you are coming here working on? What is your dream? What is your goal? Doesn't have to be big. It can be really small. Okay, financial security. If you don't mind, Jamie, can you get specific on that? What does that mean? For some people, that might mean, it could mean so many different things, right? And that's one thing with these goals is getting them as specific as you can. You want whatever Jamie uses. Gold. Okay. Gold, coming home before June. Okay. Silver and a new baby. Okay, Elizabeth, I'm going to have you pick one of the two for tonight. Home birth for your next baby. I love that. Tima, I'm so glad you're on. Growing a young living business. Being debt-free. Oh gosh, these are great. These are coming so fast. Debt-free. Okay. Not living paycheck to paycheck. Let's see you don't have to say it on here, but for purposes for you, I want you to think of what does that mean money-wise, Jamie? How much would you need each month so you're not living paycheck to paycheck? Executive. Okay. Paying off a $1,500 credit card debt. I love the specificity of that. Abby, I love it. Okay. Leave the day job by the end of 2017. Okay. This is a good mix of business and non. Okay, complete healing. Love it. Create positive daily movement. Okay, awesome. Work from home 100% so you can homeschool. How old is your son, Crystal? I love homeschooling my boys, except when I don't. But it's usually quite fun. Executive this month. It's okay to hesitate. You got to be honest with yourself. We're going to talk about that. Leaving a legacy, bringing in a monthly check. Okay, awesome. Home near the beach. Okay, executive. These are so cool. I hope you guys can all see these. 4 leaders on your team qualifying for Silver Retreat this year. Awesome. Silver and 6. You want a Tesla, Laura Sassiella. That's great. Did you know my dad worked for Tesla when they first started. He was one of the first employees there. Okay. Awesome. These are so, so, so great. I want you to get really clear. I'm going to keep talking, but as you work through this tonight, I want you to pick one goal. It's important to work, I think, on when you're doing this at least, on one goal at a time. We'll talk about why later. And I really want you just to make it as specific as you can, and I'm going to help you do that as we go along. Okay, so, and welcome to everyone else who has joined since we started. I'm Christi Collins. Tonight we're going to be talking about using a very simple but very effective tool for manifesting your goals. And so I'm going to look at my notes here. So why this class? Okay, here's what I have found. There are some things in life that are fairly easy to manifest, right? Like, oh my gosh, there's an animal crawling through the wall of my house. Okay, that's freaky. Sorry. I had a squirrel moment. That's kind of funny. Don't usually have those. So there are things in your life, and I have to just, okay, let me preface this by saying, you've all heard me talking about how I like to sync my cycle up and my business up, because I find that there are certain times in the month where it's really not conducive for doing a good job training people because you don't have words that come out of your mouth properly and you lack focus. Well, this is that week for me. But unfortunately, when I had the idea to do the class, I was either going to have to wait for like 2.5 weeks to do the class for the right time when I'd be on par and like really able to like do this well, or I could do it right away and kind of flub through it. And so you're getting me not at my best presentation training time, and that's okay, because one of the things I'm working on is being more flexible and spontaneous and less serious. So I'm in my luteal phase, so God bless us all. So back to my reason. I feel like there are things that are really easy for us to manifest, and you've probably had goals in your life where you just, you set the goal and you almost didn't even realize you set the goal. You're just like, I'm going to, like find the perfect school for my son. And all of a sudden the next day you're having a conversation and someone said, oh, guess what? There's a school right there. And you're like, perfect, I'll send him there. Goal done, right? There are things that many of you are very good at manifesting. They're very easy. And then you've got things that, they just feel a little big. Not that the goal is necessarily even big, but that it's far away from where you are right now. It might be something that you know you can do. It might be something you've done in the past, but for whatever reason, you can't get there now. And that's what we're going to talk about, because those are the goals when this tool is very helpful. When you are, here, in terms of what you believe about yourself, what you believe about the feasibility of the goal, what you think it will require to get to the goal and all that, and the goal is over here, and you just need to bridge the gap. This tool that I'm going to teach you tonight will help you bridge the gap in anything. So I have used this tool. We most recently used it to find our dream home, and actually the tool found my dream home for me in less than half an hour this time, which was crazy. Once you start using it enough, it just kind of speeds certain things up. I have used this to sell my home. We sold our home. I told the real estate agent, I said, this is the date that we're going to get the offer in. This is how much the offer will be at least. And then when I found out you could, I heard somebody had sold their home and no inspection was required. I said, oh, and we're going to do it without needing an inspection. And it all happened exactly that. She laughed at me at first, and then she's like, oh, you knew that? And I said, that's what I decided was going to happen. So that's what happened. I used to get to diamond rank in Young Living in one day. And I will tell you later why it was one day, because it was one day. The rank just took 28 days to catch up, but it happened in one day. So I want to start out by sharing a story with you of when I learned about this tool. So almost 11 years ago, I had my first son, Evan, and I was pregnant with him. We were going the traditional route of doctor, hospital, all that stuff. And to make a long story short, decided halfway through we wanted to have a home birth. Or I decided I wanted to have a home birth. My lovely husband just said, okay, go for it. And we did everything right. We had the midwife. I had picked a midwife even that was really comfortable with the weird shape of my uterus, and she knew that a breech baby was possible, and she said she was fine with breech babies. So I thought, you're the perfect midwife for me. I'll have my home birth. Fast forward, long story short, that did not happen. I ended up having a C-section in the hospital with him. It was really traumatic for me. I know it's not for a lot of women, but for me it was like a mini death. It was really, really, really bad. And I ended up having postpartum depression for about 2 years, really bad postpartum depression, and clawed my way out of it. And clawed my way out of it just in time because I got pregnant with Henry. And when I got pregnant with Henry, I knew I wanted a different birth experience than I had with Evan. And in my mind, I thought I could make it happen. But in my subconscious mind and in every ounce of my feeling and emotion, I did not think it was going to happen. So every time I did all the steps, right? I got a different midwife. I got one who really was okay with a breech baby, which Evan turned out to be, and then the midwife changed her mind, and that's how that went down. So I said, well, I'll get a different midwife, and I'm going to, do it all different, and da-da-da-da, but still in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, what if it gets messed up again? What if something happens? I didn't have any control last time. What if this, what? All of this doubt, all this worry would keep creeping in over and over. And I knew that if I let that keep coming in, the birth was going to end up the same story as the first time. So I found myself in Whole Foods in Andover, Massachusetts. And those of you who go to that store, you know a woman named Betsy Bevan. I plugged my computer in. She is an angel sent from God. She's in their whole body section with the supplements, and you can go in there and ask Betsy anything. And she knows everything. She's amazing. So I went in and I was just talking to her about Evan's birth and being pregnant with Henry and trying to figure out how do I shift my mind? I know what I want to do. I know the birth I want to have, but my mind just keeps it just keeps making me worry and doubt and be fearful. And she said, well, you need to look at so-and-so. I'm not going to tell you the name of so-and-so because you're all going to go Google it and get distracted. I'll tell you at the end who so-and-so was. She said, you have to listen to so-and-so's stuff. It's going to help you completely change your mindset and have that birth. I know it will. It happened for it. She helped me. She's helped all these other people, all these other moms. So I was desperate. I was desperate. So I looked into so-and-so, and so-and-so was very woo-woo looking. If you go to her website, when I send you there at the end of this class, you're going to be like, oh, she's like the woo-wooest person. Even for me, she was a little woo-woo looking. But I was desperate, so I got this little CD set, and then I started listening. And basically, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it later, but what I did was I basically had Henry before he was even born. How do I explain it? I basically, every single day, I created Henry's birth in my mind, down to every last detail. And I'm going to talk about what I did. But I created it, and the image, she calls it a blueprint. The image became so strong that it literally canceled out all of the negativity, everything that I felt from Evan's birth. And it created the strong image of his birth. So strong, in fact, that before he was even born, I knew exactly how it was going to turn out. I knew exactly how it was going to turn out. So here's the thing, before I go into the details of it, here's the thing. Your mind cannot tell the difference between what is real and what is imaginary. It can't tell the difference. So it can't tell the difference between what you are saying out loud and what you're saying to yourself in your head all day long. That self-talk, right? Think about going to a movie and sitting there in the movie seat and you're watching this fake thing happening on a screen, right? And you are watching this and you know it's not real, but your heart starts beating, your adrenaline starts, you feel like you are in it. That's because the mind gets tricked very easily. It cannot tell what is real and what is imaginary. So I think that oftentimes when we do goals and we set goals and we don't reach them, it's oftentimes because we are too far away from the goal. And what we do is we set the goal, and then we say, okay, I'm going to take these steps to get there. And so we say, you know what, when I get there to the goal, I'm going to feel amazing, right? Like I'm going to feel so good when I get there, right? When I reach gold rank, right? When I get my Tesla, when I am debt-free, when I leave my day job, when I have complete healing, when I get to homeschool my kids, then I'm going to feel great. Then I'm going to feel awesome. Okay, and so we think that that's going to happen after we get to the goal. I actually want to say that I believe the opposite is true. What I have found the opposite to be true. If you can reverse engineer it and start with the feeling that you are hoping to get once you reach the goal, and you get yourself into that feeling enough, consistently enough, persistently enough, intensely enough, the thing has to happen, right? So what you imagine, you become. And what you feel, you attract. So the reason that works, the reverse engineering, is because everything is vibration. Everything is energy, right? And so if you have a vision board on your wall and you're sitting there looking at this house that you want to buy, or you're sitting there and you're looking at silver by, June 2016, or what else? You're looking at a picture of a Tesla, or you're looking at these things. The looking and the constant, vision boarding is not going to get you there. If you are vibrating from here and your goal is vibrating from here, it's not going to happen. Even if you work very, very, very hard trying to get there, you can do all the work with your Young Living business. You can do all the work and you won't get there if you and the goal do not vibrate at the same place. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to help you vibrate in the same area as your goal, right? And you have probably seen this happen, right? You've probably seen this happen. You've set a goal. Maybe you've even publicly expressed it on Facebook or to people you know. You feel good about it. You write it down. You put a date on it. You're really, really, you're all set for it. And maybe you even start taking activity towards it, and then you just never get there, right? Have anybody experienced that? Am I just the only one? Like, you can feel really good about it. You can be like, yeah, I really want that. I'm going to do some things. And then it never happens. Okay, so that's because you're not matching the vibration of the goal. And it is most likely that this happens with something that is pretty big to you, right? Pretty big. Like, a lot of you guys, you have this down for little things where it's like, yeah, me getting a Tesla, yeah, totally see that. Boom, Tesla's bought, you're off driving, right? But then becomes something else where you're like, debt-free? Ooh, yeah, I want to be debt-free, but yeah, nobody in my family's ever been debt-free. No, my parents told me since I was born, everyone, always has debt. Like, messages come up, things come up, things come up over and over again. And no matter how much you want to be debt-free, you'll never be debt-free until you are vibrating at debt-free vibration. Okay, so hold on, I have to see where I'm at. I don't want to get too off track. Okay, what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to teach you how to start convincing your mind that the goal that you want has actually already happened. And once you can convince your mind that the goal has already happened, it has to happen in real life. So we are going to imagine the goal until it becomes so strong that it cancels out any self-talk, any negative beliefs, any bad juju you get from other people, any messages that people give you that sabotage you without meaning to, right? It has to be, your belief in that goal has to be so strong, it cancels it all out. And here's the great thing, you don't even have to know how to get to your goal. That will just unfold. Once you believe in it so strongly that you believe it's already happened, the rest of it's really, really easy. Okay? So, hold on. I'm sorry, my nose is running. I'm just in such great shape to do this class tonight. Okay. Here is the cool news. You do not have to figure out why the goal has never worked in the past. You do not have to go to therapy and figure out why you never figured out how to go debt-free or have an abundance mentality. You don't have to figure out why you've messed it up in the past. It does not matter. You don't have to do all that stuff. You just create your new blueprint. We're going to focus on it. We're going to get it so charged with emotion that it cancels out everything else. Okay, and the other cool thing about this is you can do this while you are rocking your child to sleep. You can do this while you could do it while driving a car. Just be careful. Definitely you can do it before bed, when you're waking up, when you're walking. Chris Proctor, you could do this while lifting weights. You can do this while talking to people. I have done this while having a conversation that has thrown me off of my good vibration. I will go into my image to get myself back on track. So you can do this anywhere and anytime. All right, so let's see here. We are going to, well, here's the thing. I want you to practice first. We're going to practice this first, okay? I want you to go back in your mind to something, a memory. Okay, I want you to close your eyes. Really, I can't see you, so I use the honor system, but it's helpful. I find it more helpful when you're beginning to do this to do it with your eyes closed. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to think of either the happiest moment in your life or the worst moment in your life. You don't have to write this down and share this with everybody else. Just think of the happiest moment or the worst moment in your life. For some of you, the worst moment may be easier to conjure up, and that's okay. We're just practicing, so you can go with that. I want you to see where you are in this moment. I want you to bring it up almost as if you're looking at it on a camera in your mind. Kind of like you have a picture there, and you're just looking at it. And then you're going to turn it into a video, because we actually want to make this live and kind of in color and emotion. So I want you to go back to this either best or worst moment in your life. I'm going to say a few things and I'm going to be quiet so you can actually get into it. I want you to see where you are, who's with you, if anybody. I want you to notice what you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you're touching, and anything that you are hearing somebody say or anything that you are saying. And just take a moment. We're going to spend 10 seconds or so in that moment. Okay. So how many of you were able to actually see that memory from the past? You can just give me a thumbs up or whatever, however, or a yes or whatever you want to do. How many of you were actually able to go back into that memory from the past? Tell me how easy it was, like on a level of like 1 meaning really easy and 5 meaning really hard. Tell me how easy it was to go into that memory for you. 1, super easy, doesn't take a lot of effort. 5, really, really hard. Because you basically just used your imagination, right? Whatever moment you were looking at is gone. It's not here anymore. But you were probably able to recreate it pretty easily, I would imagine, right? Did any of you feel a lot of you, you probably saw things and you sensory things. How many of you felt emotion? Did you feel any emotion when you were in that moment? Was there anything that where you physically had a visceral reaction to being in that moment, whether that was like happy or it was horrible and you felt like you've been, kicked in the gut? How many of you felt an emotion around it? Good, so it was easy for everybody. Okay. Jessica, it's probably hard because I'm talking a lot, so, it's hard doing this tool when you have someone talking. And Angela, it's a skill, it's a practice thing. I bet if you picked that memory and went back into it every day for a week, it would get very vivid for you. Okay, good. So this is so great because it was easy for you guys. So this tool that I'm going to teach you is going to be so easy for you. So simple, right? Okay. So what I want to do is teach you how to, Kleenex, good, happy tears. That's awesome. That's so great. Okay, awesome. I'm going to teach you how to do the tool now with your goal, and then I will share with you my vision and blueprint from Henry's birth. And then I want to share with you a couple hiccups that you might experience as you start using the tool and how I've dealt with those hiccups, like during my diamond month and during a couple things. I'm going to share with you what you can expect to have happen after we finish this class and you kind of go and, you put this tool to use. But you guys are like, look at this, you're already set up. You all know exactly what you need to do this. So whatever you need to manifest or want to manifest, you're going to be able to do that. This is so cool. This is so exciting. Okay. I fully expect to see this whole list of goals like crushed this year. Okay. What I want you to do, so I'm going to have you go back into your quiet space and I want you to close your eyes again. And Amy, that's great. If it does not have to be visual, it could be the feeling is the most important part. So, in fact, I want to talk about that before I guide you guys into this. Out of everything we're going to do, it is the emotion of what we're going to do next that's the most important. Okay, that's what's the missing link often between affirmations that you just read off of a page, right? And like you don't really believe them yet because they haven't really happened. Like, I am wealthy, I am wise, I am a calm, patient person. And then you realize you aren't really any of those things yet, and saying them kind of feels silly and like so there's like no emotion there, right? You're like just kind of reading lines like from a play. That's why I find that for most people, affirmations don't work. They work for some people, they work great. And if you're that person, keep doing affirmations. But if you found that affirmations leave you feeling a little empty, it's probably because the emotion's not there. And it can be oftentimes hard to create emotion just from reading something. Because we're all we all tune into different, my heater just turned on. You guys are going to laugh when you hear how loud it is. We all create power and manifestation in different ways. So for me, it's often more of a hearing, like a hearing thing than it is visual. I have a hard time visualizing sometimes. And I find for me, music really gets me into the emotion. So when I created my image, I actually then found a song that I could use with the image because I could stay in the image easier when I had the song playing. Is the same reason why the affirmations are tricky. It's the same thing with a vision board. A vision board is just this flat, like, two-dimensional object. It's not infused with emotion. If you look at your vision board and you're going into emotion and feeling every time you look at it, and it really charges you vibrationally and energetically, then it can be an extremely powerful tool. But usually we just have it on a wall and we look at it every once in a while and we're like, oh, the house is so great. I don't deserve that house. Somebody else always has a house like that. Where am I going to find a house like that, right? And so we oftentimes we look at it, or we read the affirmation, and we go right back to our negative self-talk. And that's why we need the tool. We need the tool to train ourselves to be able to get into the emotionally charged experience. We're trying to literally like tune the frequency to this powerful energy, this powerful, like, this is happening. This has happened. This is a done deal. It's almost like when you're you're in the car and you're listening to, I don't know, if we're in the car and we're listening to like a pop radio channel and my husband's like, oh my God, this is horrible, right? He's like, I got to get off this channel. It sucks. Our radio station. So he like, in the old days before we had the buttons, you would turn the knob, right? And you turn, you're like getting very closer to that, like whatever rock station that he likes, closer, it's still a little staticky, and then boom, you hit the right channel. It's clear as anything, right? So when we're going for a goal, it's like we're changing the station, changing the frequency on the radio until we get to the station that we want. And it takes practice. But the thing that turns the dial is the emotion. Okay, so that's when I go through this next part. I want you, if you get nothing else out of it, if you see nothing, you hear nothing, whatever, just try to feel something, the feeling, okay? All right, so I want you to close your eyes. And what I want you to do first as you're closing your eyes is I would love for you to take some really deep breaths, okay? Because part of this is just being able to relax and slow your body down a little bit. And I really like to do this exercise before bed and before I get out of bed in the morning. When I was pregnant, I used to do it when I would take my afternoon nap too. When you're first starting out, it's helpful to do it in a quiet space. And then as you get, the image becomes stronger and stronger, more potent. You can do it anywhere, anytime. But it might be tricky to do it if you're being disturbed when you're first practicing. Okay, so take a few deep breaths. Keep your eyes closed. What I want you to do is, I want you to create an image in your mind of your goal. Now, what I want you to do is focus on one moment in time that will signify to you that your goal has already happened. Okay? So like this is the moment in time where it's like, holy crapola, it all went down. It happened. Like this thing I've been, like it happened. So what is that moment for you, right? You're basically going into the future, and you're going to take a future moment and create a memory of it in the present using your imagination. I'm going to just throw out a couple quick ideas, and then I'm going to be quiet for a sec so you can get yours. So, for example, the Tesla, I mean, it could be taking the keys from the guy at the dealership. It could be driving down the highway in the Tesla. Like, it could be pulling up in front of the house and honking the horn and having your hubby come out and be like, ah, like whatever it is that signifies to you, you own the Tesla, right? If you are, credit card debt, if you're looking to get out of credit card debt, what would signify to you that you're out of it? Is it a letter, your statement from your credit card company arrives, you open up the envelope, you're looking, and you're like, the balance is zero. And like, what would you do in that moment? Who would you call? How would you feel? Like, what would you say? Like, what would someone say to you? Okay? Reaching a certain rank, or you're looking at homeschooling, right? So go to that moment. How will you know that homeschooling will be possible for you? What will that be like? The home birth. Go to that birth. The baby's out, right? The baby is born at home. What will that moment be like? Okay, so I want all of you guys to, I know Jamie used this. It works. Jamie used this with her silver and 6. I tell you, it works. It will work. So I want you to create your moment, your future moment in a present memory in your imagination right now. So I'm going to give you a moment just to kind of figure out what that is, and then I'll prompt you to go a little deeper into it. Okay, so I want you to notice where you are. I want you to notice who you're with, or maybe you're alone. I want you to notice what you hear in your space, in this moment in time. What are you hearing? Maybe somebody's saying something to you. Maybe you're saying something to someone else. What are you hearing in this present memory that you're creating? I want you to notice what you see. What do you see? Look around. Look around you. What are you seeing there? What does the light look like in the room that you're in, or in the outdoor space you're in? Is there a detail you notice? I want you to notice what you're touching. What does it feel like? Are you touching an envelope? Are you touching a house? Are you touching a baby? Are you touching a rank pin? What are you touching? Maybe you're hugging someone. Maybe you're just bent over in sobs and happy sobs, and you're just touching your head. What are you touching? What are you smelling? Are you smelling anything in this moment? Is there anything you're smelling? Anything else you notice? And now what are you feeling? Where are you feeling this viscerally in your body? Where is it oozing out of you? Where is it pouring out of you? Where is it sinking into you? Where is it exploding out of you? Where is it dripping in? Where is it living in your body? This moment, this realization that this has happened, this thing you've been waiting and waiting and waiting for has happened. Like, this is it. This is the moment. Where does it live? Where do you feel it? How do you feel it? How intense is it? Is it super intense because it's a really big goal? Is it just a really nice feeling? Is it overwhelming, overpowering? Maybe it's uncomfortable. Maybe it's the best feeling you've ever had in your life. Notice where it resides in your body. Belly, your chest, your head, your throat. Coming out of your hands, your fingertips, and your feet, your pelvis. Where is it living? Where is it coming from? And just stay in that moment for a few seconds longer. If you popped out, it's okay. Just go right back in. Notice where you are. Notice what you see. What do you hear? It doesn't have to be a long memory. It can be the same 3 seconds played over and over again in your mind. Over and over again, the feeling. Try and keep yourself in that feeling as long as you can. Maybe you're tasting something. You forgot. Maybe you're tasting something too. Okay. So you can stay with closed eyes if you want, or you can come out, and you don't have to share the moment. I actually think it's helpful not to share this moment with anybody, to be honest. And I'll tell you why in a second. But I'm just curious. I'd love to hear feedback on how that was for you. Did you find it easier or harder to imagine the future moment of your goal happening? Or was it easier to remember the past memory of what has already happened for you? I would love to hear. And if you have any questions, or like anything came up as you were doing that, or you were struggling with it, or you're like, man, this is weird stuff, just let me know. Let me know where you felt it, the feeling. Like, I'd love to know what the feeling was and where you felt it, but you don't have to give me the image or what it was or anything like that. A little harder to hold on to, yes. And Jonna found it much easier. That was actually pretty amazing. Great, Jamie. That's awesome. Closed eyes, smiling. Okay. Very easy. You've thought about before, but not to this degree. Yes, it's this degree. It's this degree that's going to get you there, Chris. This is the thing. Not weird at all. It's not weird. It's normal. It's just sometimes scary to think of, wow, this could actually happen and it could be this easy to make it. You cried with happiness. That's wonderful, Jane. Your heart was happy. It felt right. That's awesome, Tina. So when you feel it, like if you cry, if you laugh, if you feel like you're going to like explode, that's great. Sobbing with relief. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. A little harder for a longer video. Yes. Okay. Feeling the need to use release. Go for it. Yeah, anytime you feel like you have an intuition about using the oils with this process, oh man, just go for it. You recreated a previous moment but inserted the new goal. Okay. Okay. Yeah, future was harder. Okay. Danielle, you can go back and watch this from the beginning. We're going to post it. We'll post it on the team page and you can go back and watch. Okay. You can't get back to the beginning yet because we're still going live. So you can stick with us to the end and then go back. Okay. So more emotional this time. Yeah, because you know what? All those past memories are gone. They're already part of you. We hang around with them. We let them stick around because we think they're important, but really it's all about right now. And if we want to have the right now we want in the future, we have to call it in, right? Okay. You need more detail. Let's see, hold on, between what it means to hit silver. You actually don't need any of those details, Amanda. That's the beautiful thing about this. For you guys that, love details, this might be a little harder for you because it's all about the feeling. So what you can focus on instead of the details for silver, Amanda, is focus on the details in your vision. Because you don't have to know how to get from where you are now to your goal if you are doing this imaging. It's basically called creating a new blueprint. You're creating a new blueprint for this goal and you're bringing it into your present time and you are getting it so intense and clear in your mind about what it will feel like, how it will be to be in that moment, that you are basically pulling one over on your mind. Your mind, if you do that enough over and over and over again, day after day, you get into that one moment in time, even if it's for the magic time is 17 seconds. If you can hold it for 17 seconds, you're creating this little stamp on your blueprint. But even if it's just for 2 seconds or 1 second, to have that feeling and have that belief in that moment, you do that again and again and again and again. Your mind basically is going to think, oh, well, she's a silver. And then once that blueprint gets stamped and you accept it as being real, it has to happen in real life. I mean, someone could feasibly become Royal Crown Diamond in one day. Most people have not taken the time and effort and all that to create the blueprint to make that happen. It seems like that's not possible. But think of how many things in our life people have done that they thought wasn't possible. I mean, just how quickly people run the mile these days. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I should never have had the home birth after cesarean that I had. Everyone said that's not going to happen. Everyone said you're crazy, not going to happen. But I said, sorry, it is going to happen. So, my imaging with Henry was down to where I was in my home. I was going to be in my home office at the time in our old house. I was going to be in the birthing tub. It was going to be sunset. There were going to be candles in the window. The midwife was going to be there. The midwife apprentice, my husband would be there. And I was going to be there in the tub, and the baby, whatever it was, boy or girl, I literally started my memory from when that baby came out of my body, and I reached down and I pulled the baby up to me and just on my chest. It's like, I did it. Oh my gosh, I did it. Hi, baby. We did it. Hi, baby. Oh, little baby. We did it. We did it. We did it. And just the emotion of the relief that it happened and it worked out and we were good. Like that emotion of it was so real to me. And I did not share that image with anybody during my pregnancy because I knew that most people would tell me, that's not going to happen. You have a bicornuate uterus. You're going to have another breech baby. You had a C-section, and almost everyone else has to have a C-section the next time around. And I knew that I couldn't tell anyone. And the reason I knew that is because the first time with my home birth, I was not so wise, and I told people. I told people who loved me, but who had their own stuff and stories around what was safe and what was good and what was acceptable. And I had people tell me, oh, you know what? I thought I wasn't going to have to worry about you with your birth. I thought you were going to be the one we didn't have to worry about. You know, in our family, unfortunately, you know, if it's going to happen to the 2%, it happens to us. And I mean, I wasn't even in their family of birth, but yet they were so worried about me and about them having to think about me having a home birth that they planted a seed of doubt in my mind at about 6 months of pregnancy, and that seed of doubt never left my mind. And I really wonder if my first birth would have been different if I had not told that one person in my extended family what I was planning to do. So when I was pregnant with Henry, I did not tell anyone anything about my pregnancy. Well, I mean, they knew I was pregnant, but I did not tell anyone what kind of care I was getting. I did not tell them whether I was going to the doctor, a midwife. I didn't even tell people when my due date was. I didn't tell anybody. I mean, people kind of knew it was like around January. It was actually January 11th, so it's next week. So maybe that's why I decided to do this whole class. I did not share the details with anyone. When my mother-in-law came to pick Evan up, when I went into labor, she did not know. Was I going to the hospital? Was I having the baby there? My neighbor walked up the next day and said, "Oh, have you had the baby yet?" She's like, "Oh, the baby's right there." Like, you had him. Like, he's there. When did you go to the hospital? I said, I didn't go to the hospital. We had him yesterday while you guys were shoveling the driveway, right? You want to hold it sacred and secret and just with you. Now, I will say that when your image gets so strong that you will never waver from believing that it has already happened, because I will tell you, by the end of my pregnancy, I was so clear that this is how it was going to be that I actually really felt like I'd already given birth. It had already happened so many times in my mind that I was kind of like, why is this baby still inside of me? I know how this is going down. And so at the end, I feel like I did tell a few people. I know maybe Jamie at our prenatal yoga, I might have shared it, because once the blueprint is strong enough and you know no one's ever going to take it away from you because you already know it's happened and how it happened, then you can share. But when you're first starting out, it is like a baby seed. It is like a little baby plant, and you have to nurture that, and you don't let anyone else near it, right? Even if you have a spouse, if you don't think they're going to support you 1,000,000,000% without any ounce of doubt or fear or any of their own stuff getting in the way, you don't share it with your spouse. My husband had no idea that that was what my image was. I don't think I told him. And somehow the candles got lit on the windowsills, even though I never told anyone I wanted candles. I don't know who lit the candles. The midwives lit the candles. They just knew. So, okay, a couple other things I want to share with you about this. The key is the repetition, right? You'll hear us say when you're building a Young Living business, the key is consistent repetition, consistent and persistent activity taken over time. The same thing is true with this. You can't, okay, so let me try and make a comparison. So let's say you decide you want to plant a tomato plant, right? So you put the seed in the ground and you cover it up, and then you just walk away and you leave it, right? You did one step. You put the seed in the ground. That was very good. And then you walk away and you leave it, and you never do anything again to it. You never tend to it. You never water it. You never, nothing. Well, you're not going to expect the tomato plant to grow, right? It certainly wouldn't grow in my yard. Maybe in Leanne's yard, because she's got a green thumb. Not in my yard, right? So the same thing rings true for this. You're not going to visualize this one time with me on Facebook Live and be like, yeah, I'm like, my credit card debt is all gone, right? Because your frequency is not there yet on the dial. Like you still have to change it. You got to get it locked into the credit card debt-free station. You got to get it locked into the home birth station. You got to get it locked in. So just like you would take a plant, put the seed in the ground, then you're going to come back, right? You're going to water the plant. You're going to make sure you plant it somewhere where it's going to get sun. You're going to weed around it. You're going to tend to the tomato plant, right? You're going to cultivate it. That is what you're going to do with your image and your blueprint. You're going to go back to the image you just created. Now, if you don't love it and it didn't create any feeling in you, you can change things about it. You can tweak the details. I created one last night for Crown Diamond, and I was like, yeah, just not feeling that one. Like it didn't make me excited enough. I had to kind of force the feeling into it, and I'm like, yeah, that's not it. I'm going to have to recreate a different one for Crown Diamond. So I was thinking, sometimes it's a little bit of a work in progress. But what I will say is it's like a muscle. And the more that you do this imaging, it's going to be just so easy to slip into it. It's going to become a part of you, just like you slipped into past memories all the time, right? Like just how you can think of that terrible conversation you had, with your boyfriend last week, and it pops up like that, and you feel it, and you're right. You'll be able to slip into this feeling and this image just as easily, but you have to stick with it every single day, morning, night. Find a time. I love it before night, because when you do this overnight or before you go to bed, then overnight. It's like it percolates, it simmers, and then your guides, your subconscious world, everything can go to work on it for you, okay, while you're sleeping. So I love it before nighttime. What I will say to you too is this. I think this tool is really helpful when oftentimes we can set goals, but then when anything gets in our way, we get totally blindsided and thrown for a loop, and we don't know how to deal with it, right? So like when I was pregnant with Henry, and I had not gone through clairvoyant training at the time. So for some reason, I decided to go see a psychic at this store in Andover called Circles of Wisdom. And I still didn't have my blueprint for his birth really solid. It took me many months to get that blueprint so solid that I knew it was not going to crack. So I was like always like questioning it and like testing it. And like, what if I don't really believe this yet? Like, what if I don't believe it enough? Like, what if I sabotage my own blueprint? What? Like all this stuff, right? So I go to see the psychic because I think, well, I'm going to see if the psychic tells me I'm going to have a good birth or not. Because if the psychic tells me, then I'm all set. And if the psychic doesn't, then I probably need to work on my blueprint. So the psychic pulls out this card and says to me, oh, it looks like is someone going to sabotage your birth? And I thought, oh my God, someone's going to sabotage my birth. Am I going to sabotage my birth? Is someone else? Is something going to happen? Is this midwife going to leave me too? Like all this stuff flew up in my face, right? And so you've had this happen, right? You set a goal. Maybe you say, I want to be, I want to be debt free by blah, blah, blah. And then you go out and then you hear something like in a webinar or on Facebook or something that says like, everyone's in debt in America. You can never get out of debt, whatever. And all of a sudden you're like, oh crap, I'm never going to do this. And like your vibration goes from here to in the toilet, right? Now you're sad, you're depressed, you're like, oh, I'm never going to do this. That's when you go back to the image. When you feel awful about your goal, right? Like when that psychic told me something's going to sabotage you, I came home, I was freaking out. I ran in the door and I told my husband, I got to go do my image now. And I locked myself in my room and I laid down on the floor and I put in my music and I listened to the song and I went back to my image over and over again. There's candles. We're in the office. I'm in the tub. Husband's here. Midwife is here. Apprentice midwife is there. Baby's coming out. Oh my gosh, baby on my chest. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. Oh my gosh, we did it. We did it. We did it. Like crying, sobbing, so happy. Right? I had to get back to the vibration. That's the most important part. So I love this tool because we're always going to get kind of knocked over, right? Somebody walks along, you got your goal on the shoulder, they kind of butt you, your goal falls off, you're like, oh, crud, I lost it again. You go back to the image, you go back to the blueprint. As quickly as possible, you go back to that blueprint. All right? Oh, I had one other thing I wanted to tell you. Okay, the vibration, here, two more things. Somebody asked, how long does it take for the goal? Well, let's see, there are a couple questions. What if you have a few things really important to you that you want to happen? Can you focus on a few at a time? I don't know. Anything's possible. Create a blueprint that you can focus on however many goals you want. I mean, I think, yeah, you could. I mean, you could. I think sometimes it's easier to get one image really strong and like done, because here's the thing that's so fun. When you start to get good at this, you're going to start to see success, right? Like you're going to be like, oh, I just manifested that and that goal is off my list and I did that. Like things are going to happen, and every time you create an image or a blueprint and it comes to fruition, you get that much more confident and you get that much more powerful with it, and you just build your skill. So if it were me, I'd probably pick one thing rather than having split focus. I don't know. I think I'd rather be very clear with the universe and say, this is the most important thing to me right now, and let's work on this. And then when this is done, then I'll work on the next thing. But if you want to work on several, go for it, Michelle. There's like no right answer with this at all. Okay, Elizabeth, I mean, so you want a baby and you want silver. So, I mean, I don't know. It could be kind of cool to be in, new baby pops out and your hubby's like, check your phone, you just got a notification. Oh my God, I hit silver, right? Like, and we might have a little baby named Silver Bloomin' on the team next year. Like, maybe you could use them together. You could say, I'll hit silver on like this day in my pregnancy with this new baby, right? And when I go to look and the baby's the size of a walnut, that's the day I hit silver. Like you could tie them in for sure. You could totally tie them in. Jamie, how long does it take for your goal to come to fruition? It totally depends on how long it takes you to believe that your goal has come to fruition. So with me and Henry's birth, I was kind of under a timeline, right? Because I had like, by the time I started doing it, I had like 5 months or so, 4 months to make this happen because he was coming. With other goals, with other goals, it really depends. It depends on how long it takes you to kind of cancel out any negative stuff and replace it with the vibration of your goal. For some people, they can do it in an hour. Some people it's a day, some people it's a week, some people it's a month, some people it's a year, some people it's several years. It all really depends. I'd say the more you do the imaging and get into that image throughout the day, the quicker it will probably come for you. Okay, let me just see. Lindsay's asking, is it better to focus on next rank or a more advanced rank? I personally focus on the next rank because, I mean, I know some people are like, oh, I want to be Royal Crown Diamond, you know, and they're star, senior star. And I mean, it depends on how long you want to hold the vision for. You know, I personally think it's really fun to cross these off the list. So I would look at the next rank. But if that doesn't excite you and the rank after that excites you, then go for that. Test out a couple blueprints, test out a couple images and see what you like. Okay. What about me reaching diamond in a day? Okay, so here is the thing. This will be the last thing I share, and then we're going to hop off. Oh my gosh, it's 9:30. Okay, that's crazy. We have to hop off soon. So, diamond in a day. When I decided to go for diamond, it was not planned. It was a conversation that happened with myself and Pam Rich, who's my Young Living sponsor. And she's like, when are you going to go for diamond? And I said, I don't know. I'm not sure. Like, I was so wishy-washy. I had no blueprint around diamond, right? Because in my mind, from when I hit platinum to when I decided to become diamond, I had all these stories around what diamond would require. I thought it was going to be way too hard. I was an introvert. I didn't want people knowing who I was. I didn't want to have to travel around and do like all these big events that I saw the diamonds doing. I didn't want to have to become this like heel-wearing, extroverted, really bubbly, I don't know, person. And I thought that that's what would happen. So I basically never created my blueprint for diamond or my image for diamond because I was scared of it. And when Pam called me out on it, I had to really look at it and say, well, what is it that I actually do want? And I said, well, I do want our team to go to convention this year as a diamond team. And so we're like, well, so I have to get to diamond by May. So the date we had this conversation was March 31st, the last day of March. And I said, well, that would be fun because I go to New Zealand in May with Ben for like 10 days. That'd be really cool if it happened when I was in New Zealand. And Pam's like, you can't hit diamond the month you go to New Zealand. Like, that's just not cool. That's not going to work. So I said, but that would mean I'd have to hit it next month, like April. April's tomorrow, like tomorrow. And then I looked at where my volume was and where I would have to go to hit diamond. I was like, that's a really big jump, Pam. Like, it was bigger than any jump I'd ever made by a lot. It was like 20% of I would have to grow by 20% of my OGV, which I'd never done before. It felt very, 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 very large to me. And so over the course of that day, I'm in conversation with her and with Gail Ann Green, who's another diamond, and I still wasn't there. Like, I'd be like, oh, it'd be good, but my adrenals are so tired right now. I just don't think my adrenals and I can do the push required for this, and I don't think anybody is going to want to help me, and like, why would I ask the team to help us get to diamond? And I just, like, over and over. And I don't know what happened, but I finally just decided to get out of my own way and do what I knew would work. So I created my diamond blueprint. I created my image, I created my details, and my image for diamond was that I would be in my kitchen of my old house, and that I would get a phone call from Pam Rich, my sponsor, and she'd be like, oh my God, you hit diamond, you did it. Like, the boys would be there and they'd be like, oh my God, Mom did it, we got diamond. Like, everybody's dancing and jumping, and I'd be like, my heart's gonna explode out of my chest and like so excited. And that was my image. So once I had my image, I knew it was a done deal. So March 31st, I was like, can't do it. No, adrenals are tired. Don't think I can. Nobody's going to help. And once I created my image the next day, I just knew that it was going to happen. However, here's what I had to do to protect that little seedling, right? Like, when we talk about, it's like a little seed. It's like a little plant. You have to water it. What I knew was that the most important thing that I could do to get to diamond was to protect my vibration, right? Because on March 31st, I was here, and getting to diamond was over here. When I did my image, whoosh, I was there. But I couldn't allow myself, there was no time to go back and forth this time. I did not have 9 months like I did with Henry. I had 1 month. So there were a couple things I did. I actually wrote them down. What I did. I did not look at my numbers at all that entire month. Now, those of you who know me know that that's absolutely crazy, crazy talk. So if you have a Young Living business, you are looking at your volume every day. You know where your builders are, you know where their teams are, you know where your overall volume is, you know what you need, you know where you've been, you know what you need. Now, for many people who are hitting a rank goal, to get their vibration up to that goal, they would be looking crazy closely at their numbers, right? For me, I knew that if I looked at my numbers, I would start to wonder, is it enough? Is that leg going to make it? Am I going to get what I need? Is everybody else doing what we need to do to get there? Like, I would start to wonder and doubt and worry. And I knew that would send my vibration tanking, right? So I made the decision, and God bless Pam Rich. I said, Pam, here's the thing. I'm not going to look at my numbers at all this month. Every time I log into the virtual office, I got so good, I would just like glaze out numbers. I could go in there and click on people's names and find phone numbers and all of that. But I didn't have a clue how I was doing. I had no idea. Now, usually every month, I literally know what my OGV is, my volume, every single day of the month. For the past 2 years, I could tell you, on August 13th in 2015, this is where we ended the day. But I didn't know any other way to keep my vibration strong. I knew I had to just stay in that image. I had to stay in the blueprint of expecting that I already was a diamond. So that was the first thing that I did. So I would suggest to you that I also didn't really tell anybody. The people that I did tell, I needed help. I didn't get there. You know, we did not get to diamond just with me. This was a lot of people doing a lot of things, not just that month, but way before. So I would tell people this is what we're going for, but I didn't tell anybody how much OGV I needed because, again, even people who loved me and thought I was capable, you know, of leading the team towards anything, might have doubted that that OGV growth could have been possible. So I just didn't tell anybody, even the few people that I told I was going for diamond, what it was going to take. And that's what you want to do. You got to protect that little seed. You got to protect your image. The other thing I did was, so a lot of people think, oh, I'm just going to like do the image and then I'll just like lay in my bed all day and it will just happen. That's not really how it works either, right? So like that would be like you planting the tomato plant, planting the seed, and then like walking away and coming back 2 weeks later and like yelling at the seed because nothing's happened. First of all, that's crazy because you didn't help the seed. You didn't water it. You didn't tend to it. You didn't weed it. So you have to do what you need to do to get there. But also, because things sometimes take time. So that's the thing. You have to put the memory there and then trust that it will happen, and then you have to do the work. So what I did in April was I call it putting on my diamond panties. I put on my diamond panties every day. Woke up every day, what would a diamond do? Okay, we haven't had a massive big supplement speed dating event, so I am going to design, run, coordinate, lead a supplement speed dating event, even though it scared the heck out of me and I didn't really want to do it. I did it anyway, because that's what I thought a diamond would do. I wore like this nice diamond outfit, which I'll never do again. It was totally uncomfortable, and I ended up putting my slippers on after we set up for the event. But that's what I thought a diamond would do. Every single day, what can I do? I didn't want to think about what my builders were doing or what anyone else in the team. It's just like, how many people do I want to call today? How many people, what can I do? Is there anything left that I can do? And when I ran out of ideas, I just said, what else can I do? Right? So I even got to the end of the month and I said, well, I don't know where I'm at. I'm guessing I'm probably within like 10,000 OGV of what I need. So I know I'm going to make it there. So how do I prove to the universe that I know I'm going to make it there? The only thing that was left undone, the only thing that I could possibly think to do that I'd never done was I sat down and I wrote out a list of $10,000 of Young Living products that I would invest in for my business if I needed to. Now, I knew I wasn't going to have to do that. I'd never done that before. But I thought, you know what? It's a done deal. So I might as well take out the product catalog and just go shopping. I don't know. Could buy a heck of a lot of fun stuff for $10,000. So I made my list, set it aside, and the very next day the Kid Sense kit came back in stock and we hit diamond. And that was April 28th. Like 3 days before the goal, we surged way past $250,000 in volume that month. I think we went to like 264 or something like that. It was crazy. It was in that last moment where I just sealed the deal and just said, well, okay, I got my list. And that's when the universe actually had the plant pop up out of the ground. And that's when my virtual office said diamond rank. But to me, it was April 1st when I hit diamond. It was the day I decided. It was the day that I set the image. Every time I went back to the image, I became diamond again. So you see, I don't know, people could have said that could have taken me 6 months or a year. I mean, maybe I could have done it in 2 days. I don't know. It took 28 in like real people time, but in my mind it was a day. So that's only because I knew what had happened when Henry was born. And I had practiced the tool a lot. So you still have to do the work. You still have to do the work. You still have to follow the opportunities. Once you get that blueprint done, it basically sets the universe in motion to support you towards that goal. So once you have the goal in your mind, the universe is going to put people in your place. It's going to, oh, thank you, Stephanie. I will tell you about so-and-so. It's going to put people in your path. It's going to put opportunities in your path. It's going to put articles, information, stuff will come to you. You're going to want to take advantage of that and use it. But like the right stuff is going to show up at the right time once you have the blueprint in place. Okay? All right. Before I tell you who so-and-so is there any last question that I can answer tonight about this tool or how you can use it? Or I'm looking here. If you're like more of a cerebral person and you really like just kind of writing things down, you know, like if you prefer to just write things down and just read it and not necessarily get into the visualization, you know, there's a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's a lot more cerebral and like, I think complicated than it needs to be. But if you prefer like, I don't know, more like old-fashioned technical approach, basically he outlines the same thing, you know. So you could go through that, and you could go through his 6 steps and write down your like statement and your manifesto, and you could do that. How did I coach my builders? We did so much work on daily DMOs, like don't leave any OGV unturned. And honestly, what I did was I looked at the end of the month and I looked at all of my builders and I knew what their goals were for the month. And I said, if they all reach their goals, I will reach my goal. So that's why I was like, well, this has to happen, right? And then I made my $10,000 shopping list, and I just knew that it was, you know, would have to happen. So we didn't really even do anything that differently in April. Really, we did a cool, fun promotion for the Aroma Complete, but honestly, Young Living's throwing out so many promotions. Like honestly, there's just as much. It's actually better promotions now, just in the daily, monthly Young Living routine than what we did last year. Any other questions? So the lady that I got the CDs from and listened to, her name is Melissa Zollo, Zollo. Her website I think is presentmemory.com. It's very woo-woo looking. You're gonna laugh when you see it. Like she's got on like this long robe, and anyway, very woo-woo. That's okay. I think her CDs are, my husband hated them. I tried to have him listen to them. He hated them. She does have like a New York yelly kind of voice. She's a little yelly. You just have to get past the yelliness. So the CDs take you through some of the stuff I tried to teach you, but I didn't do it very well. So if you want to hear her teach it in a much clearer way, it has a couple instructional CDs, and then there's the actual imaging CD. So she has music, and then she prompts you through the visualization. She also has one that's about vibration if you want to go deeper into that. And then she has one on money. So if you're looking to manifest money, she has a whole CD set just on the money. But honestly, I would just start with your vision. You all did it tonight. It doesn't have to be that complicated. You could just, YouTube like Tibetan meditation bells and turn that on as your music, and just honestly, what I think I'm going to do this time is I'm going to record myself on my phone, just saying, okay, Christy, go into your image. What do you see? It's Zollo, Zollo, and her first name is Melissa. So you could just record yourself on your phone, like a little recording that you could listen to at night. Play some music while you're listening to it. I do think if you have the budget, I think it's a great tool. I think her stuff is a great tool, but only if you're going to use it. Really, like if you're not gonna do the visualization, don't buy her CDs, because it will just be it'll just be a distraction. All right, cool. So you guys are all set to go? You're all set to go and create this? And you can always pop on the team page. Let us know how it's going. And if you have any questions or anything there was a point in my pregnancy with Henry where I had to call her and do a consultation because I was getting in my own way. I was just like, I was letting doubt creep in. And she was helpful. She kind of helped me past it. And I mostly just did that because I was on a time crunch. I knew I had a deadline when this baby was coming out. I don't think you guys are going to need to do that. Laura's going to visualize before bed. Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you to everyone for putting up with my luteal phase ramblings. The website is present. Hold on. Let me look. I've got you guys in front of my computer. Okay. All right, you want to see what she looks like? Hold on. That's Melissa Zollo. So, I mean, actually, it's not that woo-woo. I don't know. The writing is pretty woo-woo, and so I'm just letting you know. But that's her. That's what she looks like. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I look forward to hearing all of your goals being reached, and new ones created, and new ones being reached. And have a wonderful night creating your vision. Okay? Thank you. Sleep well. And I'll see you guys all soon. Bye.